Sorry, ma'am, you're too overweight to ride this roller coaster. Those are the scathing words the blunt teen roller coaster attendant vomited out of his mouth, each blistering word burning into my skin like acid as I stared back at him, wide-eyed in disbelief. My husband squeezed my clammy hand, but all I could feel was every bickering bystander glaring at me in disgust, like I'm some washed-up bloated whale that's ready to blow. My shame, guilt, and embarrassment began to swallow me whole, with any light at the end of the tunnel slowly shutting closed and shrouding my rolls of ugly fat slumped over my waistline in darkness. My name is Linda Howard, and this was the most gut-wrenching moment of my life. Yet, I'm glad it happened. Whether you call it luck, God's plan, or divine intervention, this traumatic experience led me to discover a little-known West African weight loss secret. For any man or woman over 40 that's so shockingly simple, you'll be utterly floored when you experience the life-changing slimming benefits. It allowed me to flush 51 pounds of resistant fat superglued to my hips, arms, thighs, and belly ever since my first daughter was born, and drop 4 dress sizes in only 8 weeks, without cutting out my favorite forbidden treats or stepping foot in a crowded gym. It felt incredible to finally fit into my pre-maternity jeans that I hadn't worn since college. Trust me, my husband was the first to notice. He finally had that lustful spark in his eye again. That was a mixture of adoration, like, you're my goddess, and primal instinct, like, I'm going to sweep you off your feet and rip your clothes off. More importantly, my doctor's jaw dropped when he saw my healthy blood sugar and cholesterol levels. This was after trying keto, Weight Watchers, fasting for 16 plus hours, and every other diet under the sun. Nothing worked because they all ignore the root cause of unwanted weight gain. It all has to do with the master fat storage protein. As you age, this rogue protein forms a death grip on your fat loss. It's virtually in complete control of your body fat. So whenever you lose a few pounds, it triggers more fat cells to pop up in their place. That's why cutting carbs, slaving away on the treadmill, or counting calories haven't been able to burn fat and keep it off. I know it sounds crazy, but it's all published in the world-renowned Journal of Obesity. So it's not your fault if you've struggled to keep the weight off. In fact, it doesn't matter how old you are, how many times you've tried to lose weight, or if you've tried every trick in the book. There's no judgment here, but you're about to be one of the few to discover the simple solution. Mark my words, if you're a man or woman who suffers from accelerated aging after hitting 40, 50, or 60 plus years old, needs to drop 10, 25, even 50 plus pounds, has cottage cheese thighs, saggy batwing arms, or a flabby gut, gets out of breath just going up the stairs, or is afraid serious conditions like high blood sugar or high blood pressure will chip years off their lifespan, then this West African tribal remedy is the key to giving away your fat clothes to GoodWill permanently. This breakthrough solution has nothing to do with cutting carbs, keto, paleo, intermittent fasting, counting calories, intense exercise, or taking some nasty greens powder. I promise you, it's something completely different from anything you've seen before. In just a few moments, I'll reveal every last detail on the unusual West African tribal remedy that delivers a death blow to your master fat storage protein. Just one swig of this tribal remedy taps into your genes to open the floodgates to fat-burning enzymes, so you're incinerating fat around the clock, no matter your age. I know you may be skeptical, but it's true. Every last detail is based on the latest scientific research, like from McGill University and Thomas Jefferson School of Pharmacy. Plus, thousands of ordinary folks are raving about this scientific breakthrough that I'll share in the next few minutes. I've lost 7 pounds with no effort whatsoever. Paula M. I lost 60 pounds. It's amazing how much more energy I had after losing the weight, which in turn made me want to exercise more and drop the pounds even more quickly. Anthony Miller. When I originally joined Weight Watchers years ago, I didn't even lose 5 pounds during my 3-month membership, so that was a bust. So far, I have lost almost 12 pounds in 5 weeks. Cindy. Cindy also mentioned her blood pressure went from 140/90 to 110/70, and a heart rate of 80 BPM to 65 BPM. Make sure you watch this short, groundbreaking video until the very end, because with every year that your master fat storage protein is lurking through your bloodstream, your fat cells are endlessly multiplying, making it harder and harder for you to lose the weight, which is exactly what the medical and fitness industries want. Did you notice the people who are supposed to help you, like your doctor, give you meds that only treat the symptoms? Well, it's their dirty little secret. They deceive us like we're fools and manipulate us to keep lining their pockets. Remember, the $1.33 trillion weight loss and pharma industries are powerful, and when they catch a hold of this presentation, I can only pray they don't shut it down. So if you want to finally melt fat like butter in a frying pan and keep it off, then watch every minute of this brief video, because I'll reveal a weight loss breakthrough that'll help you trim inches off your belly, love handles, thighs, and arms. Look and feel 10 years younger. Dismember the destructive protein holding your fat cells hostage. Restore a youthful glow to your skin, nails, and hair. Ease pressure on your joints. Reduce hunger and cravings. Confidently wear a swimsuit and proudly show off your slim figure. Like I mentioned, my name is Linda Howard. I'm not a doctor, personal trainer, or scientist with a PhD. I'm just your average 45-year-old mother of three living just outside of San Antonio, Texas, who wants to live a long, healthy, and happy life. When that humiliating day at the amusement park happened, it was like my confidence was shattered into a million pieces. So how did I get to this shameful point? Back in the day, I had a slim figure. I could also get away with indulging in pasta, wine, and chocolate on a regular basis. Even if I wasn't Miss America, I still caught a few glances from men, and I had no problem having my photo taken. But when I started having kids, things went downhill. I packed on 51 pounds in total after my last child was born. Unlike in my 20s, I couldn't just cut my carbs for a few days to get rid of the fat. It was like this fat was extra resistant, and it sucked the joy out of my life like a parasite. I remember when I first tried cutting out carbs and processed food. I got a false sense of relief when I lost 3 pounds in the first week. I got so happy and motivated until a couple weeks later, my weight loss came to a screeching halt. Even when I fasted all day and pretty much only drank water, the scale refused to budge until my weight ballooned to even higher numbers than I started with. I'm slaving away in the gym and starving myself, yet this is what I get? I noticed people treating me differently too. When I'd go for a walk, I'd feel piercing stares from onlookers as if they're thinking, God, look at her taking up all that space on the sidewalk. How gross. That's why I started wearing baggy clothes, even in warm weather. And when I tried to fit into my old jeans, the waistline dug into my hips and squeezed my blubber like an anaconda. After that point, I couldn't look at myself in the mirror, let alone show my naked body to my husband, Scott. I thought it couldn't get worse, but I had no idea what was coming next. See, we had our family vacation at a resort and an amusement park. It was Scott, our 3 kids, and I trekking across a park the size of a small city. I felt like dead weight, slowing down the entire group until we finally got to the biggest, fastest ride. My youngest son, Nick, was only an innocent 8-year-old kid. He must have gotten bored in line, so he started poking my belly and asked, "Are you sure you can fit?" I desperately tried to hush him when the worst possible thing happened. The roller coaster attendant noticed me. I mean, how could he not? And he pulled me out of the line to have a safety check. He had me sit in this tiny fat seat that was hardly big enough to fit a middle schooler. He tried closing the safety bar over me again and again. The kid even jumped up and pushed down with 2 hands. I didn't fit. That's when the heartless roller coaster attendant said, "Sorry, ma'am, you're too overweight to ride this roller coaster." Everything turned silent. Even over the roar of the roller coaster and the screaming riders, my head started spinning as I was sucked into a black hole of shame. I never felt so disgusting in my entire life. I was literally forced to walk down the stairs past a line that had a 2-hour wait. I rushed straight to the hotel room and bawled my eyes out until I was dry as a desert. I was so embarrassed. I lied to my family that I was feeling sick just so I could hide under the covers of my bed. I started asking myself, would I live to see my kids grow up and walk the aisle? Would I ever meet my grandkids? Would I ever rekindle the romance I had with my husband when we were madly in love? The next morning, I woke up with my ankles swollen to the size of grapefruits. I guess walking all around the park at my size took its toll. The swelling wouldn't go away, so Scott found a doctor in the area who could help. Dr. Musa was apparently the top doctor in the area, so booking an appointment was next to impossible. Fortunately, the doctor was an old college buddy of Scott. Scott had a chat with Dr. Musa and snagged a last-minute spot that opened up. Scott warned me that Dr. Musa was a genius, but a tad unconventional. As I walked into Dr. Musa's office, I was shocked to see the certificates, awards, and photos spanning wall to wall. I was even more shocked to see Dr. Musa. Scott said they were in the same class, so Dr. Musa must have been 52. Yet he somehow had the clear skin and glow of someone who was barely 40, and the tight waist and chiseled jawline of a man half his age. "So you're Linda. What can I do for you?" Dr. Musa said. I told him about my swollen ankle. In under 5 minutes, he prescribed my treatment and then switched the subject. He mentioned how my excess weight was like taking a sledgehammer to my joints and heart at the same time. Dr. Musa basically explained that if I didn't lose the weight, I'm putting myself in an early grave. That's when I gushed every last detail about my weight gain after pregnancy, every failed attempt at dieting, and even the humiliating experience at the amusement park. Dr. Musa replied with something surprising. "Linda, you didn't fail anything. The diets failed you." Dr. Musa then began to explain the root cause of weight gain and a broken metabolism. So listen very carefully to what I'm about to share. You probably work hard to lose some weight, but then it always comes back like a boomerang. You may have even gained back more weight than you lost. Why is that? You have something called adipocyte progenitor cells. I call them immortal fat cells because research shows normal cells clone themselves a few times and then self-destruct, whereas APCs can clone themselves and pump out new fat cells for life. APCs are kind of like the parents, and fat cells are the children. So whenever existing fat cells die, APCs can ooze out unlimited new fat cells to replace them. Here's an even bigger problem. Scientists from Yale University showed that once you gain fat cells, you're stuck with them. So even if you lose fat, the actual fat cell is still there. By the time you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, you've built up a ton more fat cells than when you were younger. They're now primed to soak up more fat and grow like a sponge. So you're taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back with every pound you lose. Fortunately, there's hope. APCs are controlled by a powerful protein called PPAR gamma. PPAR gamma is the master fat storage protein. It's basically life support for your APCs because they play a key role in helping them function. PPAR gamma literally attaches to your DNA and rewires it to hoard more fat cells. Here's the good news. If you block PPAR gamma, you block fat storage too. In fact, research by the Salk Institute for Biological Studies shows that if you're missing PPAR gamma, your fat cells die and you end up with literally no fat. Let me make this clear. PPAR gamma is the reason every diet has failed you. You can only kickstart your metabolism and shave inches off your waist when you handle the puppet master behind uncontrollable weight gain, PPAR gamma. It's kind of like swarms of bugs infesting your home. You try to squash each bug one by one, but no matter what, more just keep popping up. Then you notice your trash can is attracting them. Only when you take out the trash do the bugs stop popping up. Finally, I knew why I couldn't lose the baby weight after all these years. I ran back everything in my head to make sure I understood. 1. We have these immortal fat cells called APCs that produce new fat cells and clone themselves to pump out even more across your lifespan. 2. No matter how many new fat cells you gain, you're stuck with them. 3. By the time you hit 40, you've built up way more fat cells than ever, which can also grow bigger. 4. PPAR gamma is your master fat storage protein that supports APCs. 5. Without PPAR gamma, you won't store fat. It all made sense. It wasn't my fault the low-carb diets, cardio, or smoothies didn't help long-term. No diet or exercise plan in the world is going to help me sculpt a slim figure if I have high levels of PPAR gamma. But I was just a little skeptical, even though this was coming from a well-respected doctor. I had never even heard of PPAR gamma before. I asked Dr. Musa, and he just looked down and grinned. These findings have already been proven in international scientific journals. Many doctors have already heard about it. They're just trained to treat the symptoms rather than solve the root cause. Because when you only treat symptoms, you're forced to rely on medications peddled by the shady, yet powerful figures in the weight loss and pharmaceutical industries. So you endlessly fill their bank accounts. Then I asked, okay, Dr. Musa, but how do I actually lower PPAR gamma and lose the weight for good? Dr. Musa gave me a hesitant stare. Linda, I really want you to reach your goals. It's just that I don't want to get in trouble. These greedy pharmaceutical companies are shady and ruthless. One even tried paying me to prescribe their risky meds. If they found out about this fruit, they'd come after you, or maybe even try to steal the formula. What fruit? I asked with a hopeful smile on my face. Then I explained to him that after pushing 3 humans out of me, literally decades of holding on to this nagging fat, and suffering from a self-loathing that eats at me from the inside every morning I wake up, I'm willing to take on whatever big pharma throws my way. I guess the look of determination combined with a few genuine tears hit his soft spot. This is when Dr. Musa began spilling the beans on exactly how to shrink stubborn fat off your body for good. So listen very carefully. Dr. Musa explained that before he moved to the USA and met Scott, he lived in his home country of Cameroon in West Africa. Soon after moving, he started feeling like a vampire sucked the life out of his neck. He even formed a potbelly and began growing a double chin. What patient would even trust a doctor who can't take care of their own health? Dr. Musa backtracked until it hit him like a ton of bricks. The only major change was one thing in his diet. He was missing traditional ingredients you could only get in Cameroon, mainly a West African fruit called the African mango. African mangoes were a staple in the diet of many African tribes in Cameroon and Nigeria, which is how these tribes always had a surprisingly slim build and shockingly low cases of health issues like heart disease. That's probably why Dr. Oz called them the miracle in your medicine cabinet. So Dr. Musa went on a manhunt to find out how to get African mangoes shipped to the USA. He finally found a connection in Cameroon who could ship the products internationally. Dr. Musa added the tribal fruit to his diet. He ended up trimming 5 inches off his waist, restoring a chiseled jawline, and losing 27.2 pounds of stubborn fat in only 14 weeks. Seeing the astonished look on my face, Dr. Musa shared all the scientific evidence. Scientists from Thomas Jefferson University found that African mangoes tap into your DNA to decrease PPAR gamma. Remember, decreasing PPAR gamma means you sabotage fat cells from even forming. So African mango is the scientifically proven solution to block PPAR gamma and unlock endless weight loss. This fruit also allows you to enjoy your favorite carb sources, like pasta. Don't believe me? Stanford University scientists recently proved that you can light your fat cells on fire while eating carbs. See, African mango flips how your body handles carbs. It causes you to release a hormone called adiponectin. Adiponectin slashes inflammation and increases your insulin sensitivity, which means your body keeps your stress and blood sugar at a healthy level and decreases insulin, a known fat storage hormone. That's why adiponectin has been strongly linked to weight loss. Oh, and the African mango clinical trials are even more impressive. Research published in Lipids in Health and Disease showed that people taking African mango reduced their waists by 6.4 inches, dropped cholesterol by 40%, lowered blood sugar by 19%, and lost 28 pounds in only 10 weeks. Wouldn't you be satisfied losing 2.8 pounds per week? Another study showed that African mango led to 4 times as much weight loss. That's like losing 40 pounds instead of only 10. You may have noticed that African mango has tons of health benefits besides weight loss. The U.S. Department of Agriculture reported that African mango has a special type of fiber that's been shown to suppress appetite, lower cholesterol and triglycerides, and lower blood sugar. After hearing Dr. Musa explain all the proof, I felt a sudden rush of hope. I practically got on my knees begging Dr. Musa to help me get access to African mangoes. He paused and let out a sigh. Look, African mangoes are hard enough to get, but you also have to eat the fruit by the truckload to get enough to block PPAR gamma. I created a liquid extract so it's even more potent than the fruit. Here, take this vial. Just squeeze 10 drops under your tongue and don't share it with anyone. As soon as I got home, I took 10 drops. It only took about 7 seconds. Could it be that simple? The next morning, I stepped on the scale. I lost 1.3 pounds. Even more noticeably, I felt full of energy. The next day, I lost another pound, then another. By the end of the week, I was 4.2 pounds lighter. That's when a rumbling formed in my stomach, like 1,000 butterflies were fluttering to escape. I've lost a few pounds before, and every time the scale wouldn't budge after a couple weeks. Fortunately, my fears were quickly put to rest. I lost 4.6 pounds in the second week, and exactly 5 pounds in the third week. The weight just kept falling off, even though I didn't start working out because of my ankle. Sure, I ate pretty healthy, but I still indulged in white bread and even cheesecake after dinner. After 8 weeks, I dropped 4 dress sizes. My stomach was flattening, my flabby neck and double chin were vanishing, and I could actually fit into my old jeans that I wouldn't even attempt to wear since having my first child. Actually, they were a little loose. After just 4 short months, I lost a whopping 51 pounds. I remember standing on the scale, crying tears of joy. Most importantly, I loved what I saw in the mirror. I'd bounce out of bed full of zest because I became the happy, vibrant woman I used to be. I finally loved myself. One of the craziest results is that it looked like I rewinded the clock by 10 or 15 years. My hair was sleek, my skin was clear and smooth. I even started getting all these looks from younger men. I mean, that's super flattering and all, but I literally watched my husband begin to fall in love with me all over again. One day, he literally swept me off my feet as if I was light as a feather. He hadn't done that since I was in my 20s. My friends even started asking me, "What's your secret?" It got so overwhelming because I didn't know what to tell them. As you can guess, I rushed to Dr. Musa's office to update him on my progress. He stood there awestruck. He could barely even recognize me. I told him about my experiences and how others are asking me for advice. I expected Dr. Musa to be reluctant, but he almost immediately said, "You got even better results than me. You know what? Maybe this is the best way to help people change their lives and give Big Pharma a slap in the face while we're at it." So Dr. Musa and I started working on perfecting the greatest weight loss formula ever created. One that any man or woman could easily use to drop 10, 25, and even 50 plus pounds. Even if you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s and beyond. And even if you've tried every method under the sun. Because there's never been this unique, powerful solution until now. And it's called Surimu Diet Drops. Surimu Diet Drops is the only weight loss solution designed for any man or woman over 40 to block PPAR gamma to unlock endless weight loss and keep it off. It's not just any type of African mango extract that you can pick up at your supermarket. It contains our proprietary African mango complex, the highest quality, potent version of African mango extract, combined with a 100% natural, unique blend of 10 specific ingredients that enhance its effects. Surimu means slim in Japanese, so we called it Surimu Diet Drops because it helps you naturally slim down with just a few drops a day. Just squeeze a few drops under your tongue and you'll melt stubborn fat like taking a blowtorch to butter, jolt a silent metabolism to record speeds, sculpt definition in your arms, shoulders, and even abs, suppress appetite and cravings, improve your energy levels, help lower blood sugar, triglycerides, and cholesterol, and rejuvenate your skin, nails, and hair with a youthful glow. When you start taking Surimu Diet Drops each day, you can drop up to 20 pounds in the next 20 days without having to cut out your favorite foods. You'll first notice increased energy and a youthful pep in your step, like you've rewinded the clock. You'll look in the mirror and be surprised by how quickly you shed unwanted fat that's plagued you for years. People will even mistake you for being 10 to 15 years younger. So don't be surprised when family, friends, and even strangers compliment you on your appearance and radiance. But don't take my word for it. Just listen to what everyday people had to say about the same Surimu Diet Drops. Yvonne B. said, "I had a baby a few months ago. I am trying to lose all the weight I gained during my pregnancy. I was very happy with the Surimu Diet Drops. I added them to my water 3 times a day right before eating a meal. I noticed I didn't eat as much, and I also noticed I had more energy." Doug P. said, "For years, I suffered from abdominal bloating, and I tried many alternative treatments and even changing my diet. Nothing really worked. I then tried Surimu Diet Drops, and within 7 days, I noticed that the bloating was subsiding, and I could see that the bulge was visibly smaller. After 14 days, that part of the belly bulge had completely disappeared." Elizabeth R. said, "Surimu Diet Drops were so easy to add into my daily routine. I have noticed a mood increase, my cholesterol is down and greatly improved. They have truly helped me in my weight loss journey." Emily R. said, "I really am glad I decided on Surimu Diet Drops. In the last few weeks, I have tried to start exercising on a daily basis and eat better, so these drops were a great addition for a healthier routine. The diet drops are really helping with my metabolism." Azara E. said, "I was surprised to find that I had lost 2 pounds within a week of having the diet drops. I felt less bloated and more full from meals. I didn't feel the need to snack out of boredom anymore." If you want to be one of those super happy and satisfied people that have energized their lives with the organic goodness of Surimu Diet Drops, click the Get My Surimu Diet Drops Today button now and take control over your unwanted fat today.